Some people might say, boot them, get them out of there, it's private property. If you are inside, you are trespassing. Tukwila police, make yourself known. Others may say they're down on their luck.
What's going on, man? How you been?
Hey, good, man.
What's new? A lot of times we have to work with those individuals and those entities that own that property to actually be able to enforce any laws on that area if they're not willing to do it themselves.
You still have to consider the fact that they've established residency and that it is now their home. And again, going back to the Homestead Act, we cannot just go in there and yard them out of there.
We do run into a number of individuals who do want that help, who are ready to get off that street.
As with cities across the region, Tukwila has been faced with a slowly growing population of homeless individuals and encampments popping up on public and private property. The detectives of the community police team have been tasked with responding to these encampments in Tukwila.
I'm Sergeant Zach Anderson. I'm currently assigned to the community police team, which I've served as their supervisor since roughly 2016. Among the number of duties that the community police team is in charge of, we do hotspot interdiction with areas that are experiencing a high level of crime, gang investigations, and also homeless outreach.
My name is Matt Valdez, and I am a community liaison officer with the Tukwila Police Department. I work under the umbrella of the community police team, often working in tandem with them to address some of the projects that require 2 or more officers.
Some of the tools that we use include mountain bikes from time to time. Our vehicles can only get to certain places, obviously. More recent tool that we use is our Ranger. The Ranger gives us utility that we've never had for our team. That includes loading supplies up in the back, includes being able to hold 4 people. If somebody's injured, we're able to get them out of wooded areas or to an area where the fire department might be able to reach them depending on their injury.
The detectives gear up and load into the Ranger to hit the streets and trails. The CPT respond to an encampment on City of Tukwila property that is occupied by an individual named Luciano. Luciano has lived in Tukwila for 12 years and has been homeless for the past 11 years. The encampment has been tagged for removal, and the occupants have been warned by detectives that they are subject to arrest if they are not gone by the set date and time for removal.
It's important that when we make that initial contact, that it's coming from a positive place, a place of support, a place of understanding, and that's why the very first time that we'll contact somebody, it's just a matter of, hey, how are you doing, what do you need?
The CPT's main priorities are checking on the welfare of those present at the encampments, offering shelter and resources to them, and advising those that are unwilling to accept assistance that they will have to remove their belongings and leave within a designated amount of time similar to an eviction process. Occupants on encampments located on city-owned property are typically given 72 hours to collect their belongings and leave.
One of the common questions that we get is, why can't we have a swift turnaround on an encampment that we're working with? Why can't it just be a simple contact and go out on your way? There are times where that is the case. If it's a safety issue or somebody's setting up in your own backyard, that's another complete issue. But we start running into jurisdictional issues quite frequently that make us work with several different individuals or entities or jurisdictions to solve certain issues.
Several days later, Tukwila crews begin clearing out the remnants of the encampment. This is a hazardous job that oftentimes includes the removal of human waste, discarded syringes, and other hazards. The crews clear the property and the fence is again secured. Less than a week later, Detectives spot a canopy and encampment being erected in the same spot as before. As the detectives exit their vehicle, they notice that Luciano has once again returned and set up a new encampment at the same site. Luciano again states that he has seen a macchiato and cannot leave because a macchiato lives nearby, and it is his duty to stop him. Luciano is again warned that he is trespassing and given several days to vacate the site.
This is private property. You cannot be here. This belongs to the city, okay? You are technically trespassing, but we are working with you and asking you to remove your items within the next 5 to 6 days, okay? If you are still here at that point, it is possible that we can arrest you for trespass and have to book you into jail.
Gracias por la oportunidad.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Muchísimas gracias por abrirme las puertas.
Thank you for opening the doors. These folks are also human beings, and they're being challenged in ways that most people aren't. Now, whether that's because they decided to do things to get themselves into that position, or it's because of a bigger system that failed them, you know, we approach them with compassion. If we were to approach everyone with hostility and kind of an accusatory tone, we would get zero success within the homeless community.
Aquí los oficiales son ángeles.
Let me test those gloves. Give me one of those.
Go!
Thank you.
I like that.
Detectives hit the road and locate a new encampment hidden behind tall brush on private property. Detectives announce their presence so as not to startle Abdulio. Sergeant Anderson surveys the area, while Officer Valdez and Detective Rusness speak with Abdulio inside of his makeshift shelter. Abdulio informs detectives that he has no family and has no choice but to live on the streets. He lets the detectives know that he acquired the materials for the shelter legally.
A lot of what the homeless community utilizes comes from dumpsters and things of that nature. Now, in the event that we do believe that a crime has been committed or something egregious has occurred with this individual and of a criminal nature, we would never ever overlook that. That's something that we would investigate. If we had the probable cause, we would make an arrest and we would prosecute.
When it comes to contacting an individual who potentially has or appears to have items that may not belong to them, part of the challenge is proving, one, that item is stolen, right? And so that would involve their cooperation to an extent. Now, we can't just walk up to them and accuse them of having stolen property simply because we have to have probable cause in order to, take that sort of law enforcement action, where we might be having an opportunity to maybe run the serial number or run the VIN to that item that they have in particular.
When asked if he needs resources or assistance, Abdulio informs them that he is a diabetic and will need medical attention at some point. He is put in touch with outreach workers who will be able to facilitate a visit with a mobile medical unit.
I guess the standard, or if you will, for which we measure a success or someone who accepts resources is very different depending on the individual. Some individuals only want help with getting a driver's license or potentially getting a phone. Others, it's getting housed or getting into some sort of rehabilitation for an existing condition. I would say monthly, you're probably looking at 1 to 2 who actually want assistance and actually provide the follow-up to those conversations to get that assistance.
Abdulio's encampment is near the site of a recent fire in which a mattress had been intentionally burned, causing a nearby tree to become engulfed in flames. The suspect in that fire is a local homeless man who has set multiple fires in the same area over the past several months, including one that an officer was able to mostly extinguish with a garden hose.
I'm Jason Koneska, Battalion Chief, Support Services with the Tukwila Fire Department. As a fire department, we primarily respond to calls of EMS or fire in nature. It seems like we've had an uptick in homeless encampments with fires reported, usually we'll go with PD to assist us. We're dealing with people that are in crisis, so they may not be stable. There may be a danger to our crews. We usually see two types of fires that get called in. One is for heat or for cooking, and then, but unfortunately we've seen more fires that are set intentionally for just property damage, whether it's to businesses or to other homeless encampments. It seems like there's been some fires set intentionally of entire camps, and then there is it appears to be retaliation against other camps, and then fires will be set there. So either way, when a fire gets reported, we're going to follow up on it.
Several days later, the property owner calls saying that he has located the encampment and is going to be removing it. Due to it being on his property, he is legally within his rights to do so. Detectives stopped by that afternoon to check on the site and find that the brush has been removed and the structure has been dismantled by the property owner. However, they also find Abdulio, who has set up another encampment nearby. Detectives once again contact Abdulio and inform him that they are going to have to begin the process to remove him from his new encampment. Detectives patrolling the interurban trail discover a new encampment hidden beneath some trees on private property adjacent to the railroad tracks. As they approach, they are on the lookout for any potential hazards. The camp is empty, but detectives notice a door to a nearby structure has been pried open. Over the past several months, this structure has been repeatedly broken into and used as shelter. The discarded drug paraphernalia and items found also indicate that it has been used for criminal activity.
Tukwila Police, if you're inside, make yourself known. Tukwila Police, if you are inside, make yourself known. You are trespassing.
Hold. Keep that angle.
Police, if you're in here, make yourself known.
Oh man, they've definitely been here. Good here. Ready. Last one.
Tukwila Police, if you are inside, make yourself known. You are trespassing. Force may be used against you. Let us know if you are up here.
Open.
It's open.
Relatively.
Yeah, there's a gate to the right.
Oh God. You ever see the original Blade?
Yes.
You know, they go into the vampire den.
Yes.
Like, oh man, think of how bad that could have been.
Detectives holster their firearms and begin to evaluate the interior of the structure.
Dude, you gotta see that one bay. I mean, it's nasty.
Both floors are cleared with no one found. A stash of license plates dating back to 2015 are discovered on the first floor. License plates are often taken and used on stolen vehicles to attempt to cover up the fact that the vehicle is stolen and or to help obscure the vehicle from being identified while the vehicle is being used to commit crimes. Detectives will now contact the property owner to inform them that the structure has been breached and have the owner secure it. They will check back on the encampment in a few days to attempt to contact the occupants.
So just conducting a regular patrol along the trail here in Urban Trail, and this area in the past has had some homeless activity. It's been fairly clear for the last 2 years or so, but driving the trail, I noticed the cart that was off to the side there. You turn around and then you see something like this, and so it's an active encampment. They've got it kind of under the trees so that they can stay out of the weather for the most part. It's pretty typical of what you'll see with an encampment. You know, giant tarps that are covering some form of structure. They usually put them on pallets to stay off the ground when it's wet and raining. But this is all common: bicycles, shopping carts, trash. This one isn't horrible. I mean, it's relatively clean, but it's pretty common. It's par for the course. And so the reason that this is significant for us is that the building that's directly behind it is a building that I have cleared in the past several times working with code enforcement. The building has been breached in the past where folks have gone in and they've started, you know, small fires. There's oftentimes dumped garbage and just a mess that's usually inside. And so being that this encampment is that close, we decided to take a closer look, found that one of the secured doors it's secured with deadbolts, secured with plywood, 3/4 inch nails, or screws, completely secured. They found a way to defeat it.
They took off they just attacked them. So didn't even worry about the lock.
And they made their way inside. And so we went in to clear the building because I know, working with code enforcement, that nobody should be in that building. And so that was kind of the main purpose behind going in and making sure that no one's inside. Follow up on my end is going to be reaching out to code enforcement, letting them know that it's been breached, and then that way they can work with the owners and have them come and resecure the building, and at the same time contacting our public works to get this posted for cleanup.
We live for the breakthroughs that we are able to achieve. The people that we were able to help get off the street, get the help they need, and live the life they want to live away from the street and stay off of it. A life free of addiction, a life of fulfillment. The reality is, unfortunately, that is a small minority of the people that we contact. It can be incredibly tough for people to want to break out of their routine, to live their life in a different manner than they should choose. Drug addiction plays a lot into it. Some of the culture plays a large part as well. But that's why it's important that we keep trying. The more that we take the time to work with these individuals and show them that we care, it could be that 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th time that we contact them to finally make that breakthrough where they say, hey, you know, I'm ready to be done. I could use the help.